Hello everyone, I'm Hemant Kumar and you're watching Talking Movies with iDream. Our guest today is Mr. Pete Draper. He's one of the founders of Makuta VFX and he's also the VFX supervisor at this company. In the past 6 years, he's worked on films like Magadheera, Eega, Baahubali to name a few, and countless other Telugu and few other international projects as well. So let's see what he has to say about his work and career in general. Pete, thank you so much for joining us today. So, first of all, congratulations. You've been a big part of Bahubali's VFX, and everybody has been talking about it. So, how does it feel?
The response has been absolutely great. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't manage to catch it over here. Because of my visa expired, I had to travel back to the UK, but I managed to catch it the day before opening at the theatre in Leicester. One theatre called the Piccadilly in Leicester, and they had a house full there, which the guy who ran the place was saying that they never have housefulls for Telugu features there, unfortunately, but this one was an exception. So if that was houseful, I can be only amazed what happened here. So the response has been, absolutely astounding. We've had so many people come to us and congratulating us and saying the waterfall's been great and the city's been great and so on. So response has been pretty good. So I'm hoping to see what the response is going to be on the second one now.
You were one of the biggest vendors for this film. Like you worked on almost 50% of the
around 50 plus, about 60 plus maybe. So the exact number I think was around about 1,500 shots plus we worked on.
1,500 plus shots. So what was the breakdown like? Like what are the big segments that you worked on?
We were principally responsible for two main areas. One is the Makkhi itself, in and around, and the other elements were, I'll break that down. One was the city overviews, the city fly-throughs and so on, plus the set extension work from when we were in the city centre. So all the temples and all the exterior shots. So we had a large physical set that obviously was constructed at RFC and designed and built by Sabu. Brilliant job in that. We liaised with him so that our set extension work and their design and our design collaborated and joined together. So that all flowed through neatly. Then there was, the wide city element, so following the same design, going into that liaised with the director and also with Sabu as well. There was also the interior works, so the King's Court, what we lovingly call it, where Sivagami meets the traitors and we introduce the two babies at the same time. That sequence was also constructed by us. We worked with the production. They passed us the original production designs for those. We elaborated on that. Some of it had to be redesigned because of we did one version, the director went, looks a little bit small. So we increased it about 3 times at the end of the day. So this original size that we had, that we shot on set, originally it was just going to be double. So no. Then it went once or twice extra just to get the massive kind of grand scale to it. So we extrapolated a lot from the design work which was passed to us and built on that and enhanced it and so on and so on. Same deal with the city, obviously, as well, working closely with production designers that not necessarily within Makuta itself, within production and also third-party studios. We all kind of collaborated very neatly with it. But also the main principal one, even though the city itself was a large element of the story, a large element of the work that was produced, just sheer number of shots, was the waterfall and surrounding environments. That principally was the most technically challenging. We've done set extension work, so many times in the past, so we know it backwards. We have a workflow for it, and it's very neat. We've even invested in laser scanning technology, so therefore it's refining the process even more so. So the accuracy's there. We're down to like 0.2 of a millimeter accuracy. So the tracking's perfect, everything's locked, it's all great. So that we have nailed. Then we have something which is what's called computational fluid dynamics, when you're getting things like the waterfall, you're having to enhance certain areas of live shoots. So those elements around the waterfall, rivers, the streams, splashes, and so on and so on, that was the most technically challenging, purely because of the fact that a lot of shots had to be custom built for that shot. Every single shot was built independently for that one singular shot, either through matte paint or through simulation work. Obviously, the composite is, every single comp that we do is custom built. We have a flow, especially for the set extension work, but for the waterfall and the climbing ones, every single thing is custom driven, purely because of composition. Purely because also of the amount of and the type of assets that need to be incorporated within that particular shot.
Like, can you give me an example for that?
Sure. Let's take the Tarzan episode, what we call the Tarzan episode, when he's swinging through the foliage. So there's one shot, for example, where he's swinging through. His feet are interacting with the ground, so that his feet are interacting with the water, so they're scooting through. That's live element. But then we have additional CG elements, the entire environment, the foliage, the rays, the light is changing as we're progressing through the shots and so on. So that shot is staged and built for that one particular shot. How this log is sculpted across, what foliage is going on it, where the direction of the light rays are coming through, what the background's like, the fogging, any additional splashes and so on that we need to throw in. So that's custom driven for that one. Then we cut to the next shot where he swings up. That's a background that we've actually repurposed from the previous shot, I think. And then we go for the pole vault shot where he jumps over the branch. That again is staged. Each one of those branches and those ones is actually unique for that shot because of the size and the sculpture of the logs which are going into it and the foliage that's distributed on it. We can't use that one in the previous shot in that one because shape doesn't match. Same deal with a lot of the waterfall shots down the bottom. I think we managed to reuse a few simulations on a couple of shots just because angles were similar. So the shots where Sivagami's she's got the arrow, she's got the baby in the back, she's looking up. That shot and the one with the soldiers, which is a similar angle, that was repurposed. And I think there was also a shot that was later on in the sequence, later on in the feature, where Baahubali's adopted mother and father, they also look up, and so those, again, similar angles, relit, reworked, that we managed to repurpose. But the majority of stuff, because every single angle was slightly different, the set was slightly different on the shot by shot, we had to redo simulations, we had to redo or rework matte paints for that particular shot itself. So there was a ton of work. If you imagine a song, how many shots there are in a song, if you imagine every single shot being a new set being built for every single shot, that's how it was. But it worked in the end. It's a lot of work, but it did come out right.
So when you say technical challenge, are you referring to the amount of time that you have to invest in creating that, or is it something else there?
It's principally down to the complexity. It's principally down to the complexity of trying to get the systems that we design to behave. to try and get them to, the waterfall is like 1.5–2 kilometers high. In one shot, in that one shot that we repurposed, we actually measured the height of the geometry to get that angle, to get that composition. The actual waterfall was 5 kilometers plus for that one particular one. So you don't see a 5 kilometer high waterfall, it doesn't exist. So, you're going above cloud layer, you're going almost like halfway to space almost. So actually having it look right is hard in itself, how to visualize this thing before you even get into simulating it. So as soon as you drop the large amount of water off from a top portion, after X number of meters, it's going to explode, it's going to burst. So therefore you're just going to have mist. The entire thing is just going to be mist, and it aesthetically won't look right. So we had to custom build systems to try and hold and control and manipulate the fluid to exaggerate properties to just get that aesthetic. It was cheating it a lot. Sometimes we went back to old school methods, sometimes we went to sprite-based, like game method techniques almost, from 10 years back, just to get that visual aesthetic. So we were taking sprite elements that we shot from trips to like Niagara Falls and to waterfalls that we visited up north. We're either taking stock and compositing those stock elements in, or we're using combination of simulations, or we're using old school volumes or old school sprite methods. So every single shot had a different sort of methodology that we'd actually utilize to get this large volume within there. The small streams where when Tamanna's enticing Baahubali to do the jump, behind her there's some additional water that's running down the edge. That's all pure simulation. That's all we had to do that, without any shadow of a doubt, to actually, so it flows along the rock and everything. That comes out nice. And then the integration of the large volumes at the behind, which a lot of it is stock that we've sourced and filmed ourselves, coupled with simulation work to also blend together neatly. Each one had to be tackled dependent on framing, composition, camera, lighting, everything. Because of scratching the head, right? How do we achieve this visual? Because we've got some great concept artists and matte painters within the company. They're great. They also, every other department doesn't like them because they create this amazing visual that's really, it's like, wow, that's great. How are we going to do that? Because the director loves it. Oh God, how do we produce that? So we've been tempted just to say to him, like, tone it down, but then we go, no, actually, no, we're doing it, we're managing it, bring it up. So it's been tough, but, and it's down to the collaborative effort between all departments, really.